Welcome all y'all out there in Radio Land to the classroom of Professor Percy Pickem's Peerless Pigskin Predictions and Prognostications 101. Professor Percy Pickem, the freight train of pigskin pain and the master of point spread disaster. After much cogitation and coin flipping, the old professor has carefully prepared his lesson plan, and he's here with his weekly lecture on gridiron glory and his prodigious Pickem Pigskin Report. This week, there's a lot of gridiron grit on the schedule, so sharpen your number 2 pencils, get in your seats, open your books, and get ready to take some notes. The old professor's class is now in session.
This is Professor Percy Pickem, and welcome back to my Peerless Pigskin Predictions and Prognostications 101. There are some marvelously mind-boggling, memorable macho matchups to methodically maneuver for this week's exciting edition of everlasting, exhilarating events. So let's get down to some mighty moxie maneuvering. TCU versus Texas Tech. An unforgiving Fort Worth cantankerous congregation of the Cowtown Christian Chapel of the Aromatic Church of the Blessed Stockyard courageously cast off on a critical crusade, conniving to conquer a rough-riding roster of rowdy Red Raiders in a bombastic battle of Big 12 Beastie Boys. Coach Cutie Pie Kingsbury's massive mob of masked riders will be burning brighter than a 2-bit branding iron, but the third-ranked Salty Horned Frogs will be mighty briny and burn their brand in the Texas Tech honey. Percy's pick, TCU. Tennessee versus Florida. A vast variety of voluminous, victory-hungry volunteers vigilantly vamoose out of invigorating Knox Vegas for an early season SEC East showdown in the gritty, gator-infested lagoon of glittering Gainesville. The honorary organization of oversized orange hombres will be seeking to put a serious squeeze on the slick, slithering swamp lizards, but won't be able to produce quite enough juice to sufficiently reduce the alligator abuse. Percy's pick, home field advantage, Florida. LSU versus Syracuse. The New York State Beverage Association will be totally tickled pink to entertain a tanked-up throng of thirsty tiger tailgaters as they follow the burly line-busting Bengals from the Baton Rouge Bayous into a heavily Yankee-accented accumulation of ACC athletes. The scheming scallywags of Syracuse will energetically endeavor to dump the cagey SEC Cajun Cats at the Carrier Dome Depot, but the 8th-ranked Rootin' Tootin' Tiger Town Express will have too much chugging to fall for a New York mugging. Percy's pick, going to be Tiger Bait in the Empire State, LSU. BYU versus Michigan. A powerfully packed party of impressive Provo pigskinners mount a meaningful missionary movement for a momentous meeting inside mythical Michigan Stadium to wrangle with a wealth of wild-eyed Wolverines. The saintly latter-day laddies hope to show the way and save the day against the awesome action figures of Ann Arbor. They may make them feel the heat, but the Michiganders won't see the light. Percy's pick, in an upset, Michigan. Missouri versus Kentucky. It's going to be a frightful fracas of a furious fur-flying feline fiasco as a crew of Columbia striped kitty cats creep into the Commonwealth Stadium litter box, hankering for a horrendously hostile SEC hissy fit with a humongous host of Lexington Wildcats. The 25th-ranked stubborn sportsman from the Show Me State will be supposing to stick a scratching on the unranked cats of the bluegrass, but will find the polls don't mean nothing if you ain't got the right stuffing. Percy's pick, in an alley cat brawl, Kentucky. Texas A&M versus Arkansas. A 14th-ranked ground-gaining group of great big old giggums gallivant out of cozy College Station into Jerry Jones's palatial pigskin palace in Arlington to wrestle with an endangered pigsty species of snot-snorting pig sueys this Saturday. Meanwhile, in the latest episode of CSI Fayetteville, soft-spoken detective Brett Belima is still searching for clues concerning the devastating disappearance of a once promising football season. As the SEC cameras roll the final credits, the conquering Corps of Cadets will let out a loud Aggie yell, while the unaccounted-for Hogs remain AWOL. Percy's pick, Texas A&M. Well, I'm getting a signal from the boys up in the control room telling me they need to change out the cartridge in our old 8-track recorder machine. So let's hit the old pause button for a very short break. But don't go away, because we'll be right back with more of the old professor's Peerless Predictions. Whether you are tuned in on Professor Percy Pickem's radio network, our fabulous Facebook page, or right here on our weekly YouTube TV broadcast, we hope you get a kick out of the old professor's Peerless program. We thank you so much for listening and would sincerely appreciate you telling all your friends and acquaintances about us. Help us spread the word. Let's get some numbers on YouTube for the professor. Now, let's get back to the show. This is Professor Percy Pickem. Each week, my peerless pigskin predictions are broadcast on the best radio stations in America, like our good friends at WJDX AM 620 in Jackson, Mississippi, on the air since 1929 as Jackson's talk, news, and sports station, and The River, KFYN FM 104.3 in Paris, Texas. We appreciate your kind support. Now back to my peerless prognostications. Georgia Tech versus Duke. A rousing wad of rambling Rick Waspers boldly buzz out of highfalutin hot Atlanta, hoping to stick some seriously sharp stingers into a brazen bunch of brash, brimstone-burning Blue Devils down in dangerous Durham. The Duke cobalt-colored Beelzebub's prime purpose will be to poke painful punctures with their teeny-weeny prickly pitchforks into the 20th-ranked yellow-striped stinging machines. But the battling Buzzy Bugs will have too much zing in their sting and wind up being the best in this ACC nest. Percy's pick, Georgia Tech. Vanderbilt versus Ole Miss. The old Music City Commodore loads up his good ship Lollipop to nautically navigate out of the silky smooth waters of the Nashville Sound into an ominous Oxford Ocean swimming with a salty squad of sharp-toothed land sharks. It will have to be all hands on deck if the Vandy Navy expects to steam full speed ahead and land the third-ranked petrifying predators of the SEC deep. But they will finally cut bait as the Rebel faithful continue to celebrate. Percy's pick, another beautiful day in the Grove. Ole Miss. UCLA versus Arizona. A stubborn bundle of powerfully built brawny Bruins load up in a luxurious extra-long L.A. limousine and sashay off star-studded Sunset Boulevard for a tumultuous trip into temperamental Tucson for a testy tussle with a double dose of desert-dwelling wildcats. It's going to be a spunky Pac-12 Lollapalooza pigskin picnic filled with agonizing kitty cat howling and aggressive big bear growling. But at the end of the day, the felines will blow a gasket and the Yogi Bears steal the pick-a-nick basket. Percy's pick, in a close one, UCLA. Oklahoma State versus Texas. Get ready for a rowdy rendition of a rambunctious, rip-snorting range war in bountiful Big 12 country this Saturday, as a bawdy band of battling Bronco busters boisterously buck out of the sticks of Stillwater into a precarious Austin City Capitol corral chock full with a crotchety collection of low, yodeling longhorns. The bouquet-smelling beefy bovines of the big city will be a hankering to hook the back end of the buckaroo's britches. But the Texas Trail will end when they find out there's just too many cowboys for too little cattle. Percy's pick, this one could turn into a shootout. Oklahoma State. One of the most well-known sports figures in American history once famously said, "It ain't over till it's over." Now, sadly, it's over, as gentleman and baseball icon Yogi Berra passed away this week at the age of 90. Yogi played in 14 World Series, winning 10 of them. Both numbers are Major League records. A Hall of Fame catcher for the New York Yankees, he played in 15 straight All-Star games and was the league's most valuable player 3 times. A great athlete and a good life well lived. Thanks, Yogi. May you rest in peace. We'll be right back.
Southern artist Larry Womble has a collection of art prints from your favorite college towns. Visit LarryWomble.com to view the array of prints and place an order for yourself or as a special gift. LarryWomble.com.
Well, it looks like the old scoreboard clock is winding down toward the 2-minute warning. But we still have plenty of time for the old professor's peerless quick picks and pronto prognostications. Ohio State wallops Western Michigan. USC ambushes Arizona State. Mississippi State upsets Auburn. Navy conks out Connecticut. Notre Dame annihilates UMass. Baylor boils Rice. Oregon uses Utah. Georgia smothers Southern. Wisconsin has their way with Hawaii. Michigan State beats Central Michigan. California whips Washington. Virginia Tech tames East Carolina. Kansas runs over Rutgers. Penn State swamps San Diego State. Nebraska shucks Southern Miss. South Carolina stymies UCF. Georgia Southern peels Idaho. Houston topples Texas State. West Virginia mangles Maryland. And the Alabama Pachyderms stomp Louisiana Monroe into peanut butter. Well, that does it for this week, but we'll be back again next week. Same Percy time, same Percy station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, and YouTube TV. And don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Just search for Professor Percy Pickem. That's P-I-C-K-E-M, Professor Percy Pickem. So long for now, and thanks so much for listening. And always remember the sage advice from my dear old friend Larry Womble. Play hard when you're ahead, and never give up when you're behind.
Professor Percy Pickem is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to y'all.com or share the podcast in the iTunes Store.